Hey, this is a review of my 360 collection, so let's get started since this may take a while. Halo 3, I actually really liked this game. When it came out, people said that the campaign wasn't as good as the first one. I don't know why the first one's held to such a pedestal, but I thought it was really fun. I played 4-player co-op for the campaign and had a lot of really cool fights, but you definitely know what you're getting in these Halo games. I don't really like the multiplayer. Um, so yeah. And here's Halo ODST, Halo 3 ODST, and I didn't really like this game. I thought the single player was pretty boring, and thought it was a sorry excuse for a $60 game at the time. So yeah, don't really have much else to say about this one. I wouldn't recommend it unless you find it like in the bargain bin or something. NCAA 07, I haven't played it because someone gave this to me and I really like college football. So, yeah. And here's a game I got with my 360 back in 2005, as hard as that is to believe. It's been 5 years. Cameo, or Cameo, I never really knew how they pronounced it, but yeah. It's okay. It was actually supposed to be a GameCube game before Microsoft bought Rare off from Nintendo, and it's all right. It's kind of what you expect from a launch title, not really developed. Had really good graphics though. They probably still hold up to this day, and it involves a lot of transforming into different creatures, and yep, it's before Rare became the Connect Sports developers that they are today, unfortunately. And I figured I'd review all these together. Madden. Well, yeah, these are all Madden games. I also had Madden 10, but GameStop was doing it, like, trade that in towards Madden 11 and get $40 back, so yeah, I did that. Most gamers don't really like Madden games, so I won't spend too much time on these, but they have been getting progressively better, which you expect from a new $60 annual franchise. And yeah. And here's Bioshock. Came out in '07. It had a lot of hype because of the story, and it was kind of new at the time. Compared to other games that were coming out, and there aren't really many narrative-based first-person shooters these days. There's like the Half-Life series, and that may be it these days. And I thought I haven't finished it because I got this game kind of late, and I didn't like the fact that like arrows guide you to where you're supposed to go. I think you can turn that off, which I'll do when I go back and play this, but yeah, I don't like that stuff in general in these kind of games. And I thought the atmosphere was really good, kind of like a 50-ish Ayn Rand dystopia. And yeah, I'd definitely recommend this. Heard the PC version is better, but whatever. And speaking of PC games being better, here's Oblivion. This came out around the time 360 came out, like maybe 5 months after launch. And I usually don't like Western RPGs or even JRPGs, but I thought this was a really good game. One of my favorite sections was the Dark Brotherhood guild. I think they're all like guild missions, but yeah, I wish the rest of the game was like that. I actually didn't finish the main story because I found that kind of boring. But the exploration was really cool. But the voice acting was really like repetitive. Like there were only like 2 or 3 voice actors, I think, and like the human models look really really ugly. But other than that, I really like this game, and I'm looking forward to. I think it's Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Yeah, I think that comes out next year in November, so that's cool. And I'll review these two together: Super Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 4. Super Street Fighter is basically like an expansion pack, but yeah, these are two really, really good games. Kind of revitalized the fighting game scene in a way, and I consider myself like an intermediate level player. I always hit a wall where I try to do like expert combos, which I can usually nail in training mode, but when I'm actually in the battle, like that stuff skips my mind and I don't really implement the combos. So yeah, if you happen to be a fighting game expert and you're watching this video, contact me. I always have like a million questions to ask, and nobody's there around to answer, since like on shoryuken.com they're like expert players who wouldn't even bother to answer like newbie questions. So yeah, one thing I don't like about Super Street Fighter 4 is the fact that like in the promos leading up to this game, like 3 months before, like a big part of the advertising was the fact that each character had new costumes, and yet when you put in the game, they're locked. You have to pay for them, which is bullshit in my opinion, since it was part of the advertising. And if this is supposed to be the definitive Street Fighter game, why not include costumes? They don't even include the original Street Fighter 4 paid DLC costumes, which is stupid. But yeah, otherwise a really good game, and no bullshit like extra DLC characters like other games I'll talk about soon. And here's Grand Theft Auto 4. I'm sure all of you have played this game by now, but I didn't really like this game. I was a huge fan of GTA Vice City, but I don't know, the style of this game, like thematically, was kind of boring, and they discouraged you from like going crazy, like using cheats and stuff, which I always found like integral to the GTA experience. And I thought the story was kind of boring and middling and disconnected between like the supposed protagonist who has a lot of morals, yet he has no problem like gunning down thousands of people. And yeah, I definitely think it's a step down. The driving was also terrible. And it's not like I'm wearing rose-tinted glasses. I actually put in Vice City after playing this, and everything about it was better. Well, except for the graphics, obviously. So yeah, I don't know how much steam this series has left, especially if they keep going in this quote-unquote realistic direction, but I'm interested to see where they take 5. This is Rockstar Presents Table Tennis. This came out around the time the 360 came out. You can definitely tell it's a launch title or near launch, because this game actually had hype, which if this game came out now, it definitely wouldn't have hype. And it's just a basic ping pong game. The graphics were really good at the time, and it's pretty fun. Definitely basic, and that's pretty much all I have to say about that kind of game. And here's Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. Contains over 40 Sega games, which is really impressive. I think it launched at like $30, and now it can be had for 20 or less, so that's really cool. And it basically contains like everything you'd expect out of a Genesis collection, all the Sonic games. Though I don't think it has Sonic and Knuckles for some weird reason, which other collections do have. Has like the Streets of Rage games. It has like Columns and Axe Raider. Is it Axe Raider? No, I think it's a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Whatever. Something Axe. Anyway, yeah, it has a ton of games in it. It actually has the all 4 Phantasy Star games, even the Master System one, which is cool. But I actually wasn't a Sega kid growing up, so a lot of these games I haven't played before. So this was a good chance for me to play them. And I have to say, I think most of them don't hold up. They're kind of like action games at the time, mostly like arcade games, and of course the infamous like Genesis music, which wasn't very good for most of the games. The Sonic music is actually excellent. I'd recommend this though for sure. Just as a value proposition, there's so much packed into these games or this game, and yeah. Actually, according to the box art, I think it does have Sonic and Knuckles, but it doesn't have like that quote unquote lock on technology where you could combine Sonic and Knuckles with Sonic 3 or 2 to play as Knuckles. So yeah. So here's BlazBlue, Calamity Trigger. It's a fighting game made by Arc Systems Works or whatever. Uh, they made the Guilty Gear series, and I think they're doing the art for the upcoming Contra game, or I think it's not called Contra, it's called Hardcore. But yeah, I didn't really like this game. I thought the fighting system wasn't that good. The story mode wasn't that good. The characters are really weird, which I think is pretty cool to have, these absolutely crazy characters. But yeah, I didn't play too much of this because, like I said, I thought it was pretty boring. Not sure why I haven't sold this yet. Maybe I will eventually. Okay, and here's Gears of War 2. I have the first one. I don't know why I haven't reviewed that before this one, but yeah, this is basically like, I think their motto for this game was bigger, better, more badass or whatever, which it pretty much is when compared to the first one. I thought the single player mode was really, or the campaign rather, was really cool. You can tell that they played a lot of video games because, like, the end boss is basically like a Panzer Dragoon level, which is really cool. And there's like a water boss somewhere in the middle of the game that's kind of like a Star Fox 64 boss. It's like a water boss that you have to throw grenades in, which is like kind of like in Star Fox 64 when you have to like throw bombs to hurt certain bosses. Sorry, I'm not doing a better job of explaining this, but yeah, that was really cool. And Horde mode, I think, is a really great mode. It's basically, well, a lot of games have it these days, but it's basically where you can team up with 3 other people, just fight waves and waves of enemies, and that's really cool. But the unfortunate thing is that there's no matchmaking for this, and I really can't really find people who are into Gears of War 2 anymore around me, so I can't really play Horde mode anymore unless I play it like by myself, which is kind of sad. And the multiplayer, like the actual deathmatch, I thought I was going to get into more, but in the beginning, the matchmaking system was terrible. So that's why I hadn't played more deathmatch, but I really loved it in the first game. So yeah. And the last game I'm going to review for part 1 is Guitar Hero World Tour. It's the first music instrument game I got. It was on sale for like $50 a couple years ago on Amazon, so I got the whole band pack. And I don't really like the music in this game. I guess I don't really like that kind of rock music, that hard rock. And I also found out that I don't really like these Simon Says music games. I just think they're boring. Just following whatever the prompt says. Yeah, I don't have much to say about this game at this point. I definitely know I won't be getting any new music games of this type. So yeah, tune into part 2 where I review, well, I don't know what I'll be reviewing, but it'll be good.